your head on my shoulder.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first video you're seeing of mine, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full face of Fenty Beauty. Fenty Beauty is one of my favorite brands. I have a lot of their products and I really just enjoy their brand overall. So I thought I'd do a full face. The only thing that I don't have is blush, so I just won't be using blush today. I do usually use blush, but Fenty doesn't have a blush out yet. I think on the 17th they're releasing a cream blush. Obviously I don't have that yet because it has not released. So, to start, I am going to be first using the Fenty Beauty Pro Kisser Lip Balm. This is really good and it doesn't leave your lips sticky at all. Also, I wanted to mention, sorry if the lighting changes. I am in front of a window today and it is getting darker outside because it is a little bit later in the day, but nevertheless, I think this lighting is better than my last video. So this is just a clear lip product. It really does hydrate your lips a lot. I like to apply this before I go to bed often. This is really good and I do recommend this highly. So I do have all three of the primers. I have the True Matte Mattifying Primer, the Soft Silk Hydrating Primer, and the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. I've had this one the longest, being that it did launch first. I can get away with using all of them just based on what I want my face to look like that day or what foundation I'm using. Oftentimes I pair my primers and my foundations. I'm going to use the Instant Retouch. This one is like an in-between of these two. I'm going to use this on my T-zone, and then I'm going to use the Soft Silk Hydrating one on my cheeks and any high points of my face. So I'm going to start out using the Pro Filter Original Primer, and I'm just going to take some of this and put it on my T-zone where I have large pores right here, and also I'll be putting it in the center of my forehead and on my chin. I like this primer because it's not too mattifying and it's not like super glowy and dewy, but it does give a little bit of hydration to your face. Next I'm going to use the Soft Silk Primer, and I'm going to put this one more so on my cheeks. Just a little bit of this on the perimeter of my forehead. The next thing that I'm going to do is my brows. I'm going to use the Fenty Brow MVP. This one is in Dark Ash Blonde. I like this one. It's different than other brow pencils because it has like this paddle on it. This is my second one. I really like these. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly do my brows and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done my eyebrows and this is how they look. This pencil is really nice for doing your eyebrows. It's not too waxy and it's not too like slippy either. It's just like the perfect consistency and I really like it. I'm just going to take a little bit of the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer. I'm in the shade 150. I'm going to take a little bit of this on the Morphe M421 brush. This is a nice brush for carving out the eyebrows, and I really enjoy it. This always makes your brows look so much better. So now that my brows are carved out, I'm just going to brush them into place. Fenty doesn't have an eyebrow gel yet, so I'm not going to be using an eyebrow gel today, but that's okay. I'm going to move on to the base. Foundation, they have two different options. They have the one they first came out with is the Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. It looks like this in the glass bottle. This is it's pretty matte. It's called Soft Matte, but it's pretty matte. I love this one as well as the Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation. This has been my favorite foundation since it launched, and I love it. Today I am going to be going in with the hydrating just because, I don't know, I just feel like it looks a little bit better on my skin, but I do really like both, especially if you're oily, this one would be great. If you're dry, this one is really good. In both of these, I wear shade 150. Before I start my foundation, I am going to use the FENTY, okay, I'm going to stop saying FENTY, sorry. I keep saying FENTY over and over. The What It Do Makeup Refreshing Spray, just to give my skin a little bit of, like, moisture, I guess, to glide on the foundation. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of this. It is a little bit fragrance, but it's not too heavy. So now I'm going to go in with the foundation. This one is in a pump, but it is like a squeezy tube. I'm going to take the foundation on this little like concealer brush. I don't know why I like putting my foundation on like this. I don't like squirting stuff directly on my face, I guess. So I just squirt a little bit onto this brush. And then I just kind of spread it onto my face. And I like to work in sections. Not that this one dries super fast, but I just prefer to do that. So I'm just going to take my Real Technique sponge and blend this all in. Again, sorry for the lighting change. I am using natural light and it can change sometimes. So I'm taking another little bit and putting it on this side. This color 150 is, I think, considered like just a light skin tone, neutral undertone. So I'm just gonna blend this in. So there's that part of my face. I'm gonna take what's left on this brush and put it on my nose and just blend that in. If my sponge is getting a little bit dry, I'll take that FENTY What It Do hydrating primer or spray thing, and I just spray a little bit on my sponge. This has such a fine mist, like you can barely even see it. It's like so good. Foundation by far is like what takes me like the longest, just because I take so long making sure everything is blended like so well, because the worst thing is whenever you go into like natural lighting where somebody's like, your foundation is like not blended. But this one matches me super duper well, so I don't have to worry about that too much, especially since I blend everything so well. So this is how the foundation is looking. I feel like it looks super nice. Like, this is one of my all-time favorite foundations. I used it religiously for a few months straight after it first came out. I love it. I'm going to be doing my concealer. For concealer, I'm using the same shade and everything that I used to carve out my brows. The Pro Filter Instant Retouch Concealer in shade 150. They have a system set up where your concealer and your foundation number like complement each other. So I'm gonna use shade 150 just like in my foundation, and again I work one section at a time. So here's the concealer underneath the eye. As you can see, it's kind of just canceled out some of my tones in there. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit more in this little corner here, just because it's a little bit darker in there and I just want a little bit more coverage right there. This does claim that it's creaseless. I haven't found a single concealer that doesn't crease just a little bit, but after I set it, it's not usually a problem. So I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. This concealer is super, super, super creamy. It isn't too thick. I'm just blending this out, making sure to get it right up underneath my lash line and making sure the blend is seamless. I really like this color with this foundation. I think it looks really good. So there's the concealer underneath the eyes. I'm gonna do just a tiny amount right here and on my chin just to kind of balance out the brightness. So just a tiny, tiny bit right there. And just a little bit right there. I have prices and links for all this stuff down below in the description box. I don't have the prices off the top of my head right now. There is the concealer. As you can see, if you let it sit in there, it is gonna crease, obviously, in your creases. So before I powder, I just blend those out again. But I am going to be using the matchsticks in the shade Amber to do a little bit of contouring right now. So this is what Amber looks like. It's a very cool tone contour color. I don't usually like to put it directly onto my face because I don't like lifting up. So I just take this brush and I kind of just rub it on there like that. And I dab a little bit on my hand to make sure it's not too harsh. And then I just lightly use it to contour my cheekbones a little bit. Just slowly build up the color. I don't like to go in too heavy initially because I don't like that harsh line of contour. I find this way works better for me. Temples. And blend it out. I kind of do that like 3 thing, you'll see. And I blend it all together. So there's that. And now I'm just going to take a little bit on my jawline, underneath the jawline, not directly on because that kind of defeats the purpose of contouring. You want to create shadow underneath instead of like directly on top. Now that all of that is blended out, I'm done with the matchstick. I do have the matchstick in Starstruck, which is a highlighter. I'll use this more in the summertime when I want to do like cream products and stuff. I'm not that big of a fan of cream highlighters. I do prefer their powder highlighters, but as you can see, the base is looking flawless. One thing I like to do before I set my face is make sure that I have all of the creases and everything blended out one last time. So I take the end of my sponge and just blend over everything really quick, just to make sure everything is nice and blended. And then I have a miniature version of the Fenty Beauty, what's this called? Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Butter. I think this is their second lightest shade. This is what it looks like. It has a little bit of fragrance in it as well, just slight amount, and it doesn't linger or anything. So Now I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my Juno & Co. velvet sponge and press this underneath my eye. I press underneath the eye so the powder really sinks in. Just patting in the powder. I really like this powder. It's not my go-to because it is pretty matte, but you can like adjust that with the spray and stuff. My favorite powder is the Laura Mercier powder. So I'm just patting this powder in with my sponge. As for the rest of my face, I'm gonna just take a little fluffy brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just gonna dip in lightly and dust this lightly over the sides of my face. So that's it for the setting powder. So now I'm gonna move on to bronzer. I have a miniature version of the Sunstalker bronzer. This one is in Shady Biz. It came with a lip gloss. No, it didn't come with a lip gloss. It came with a mini matchstick in cinnamon. I am gonna use this bronzer. I'm gonna take this Morphe M405 kind of angled brush. I'm just gonna take this and put it on this part of my cheek. And I do like circular motions just to make sure there's no harsh lines anywhere. This shade really complements my skin tone, I feel like. There are 8 shades I want to say of this, and I would say that is pretty good shade range for a bronzer, as well as the foundations. Each one has 50 shades, and that is really, really good. And again, bronzing up underneath. I do want to bronze up my nose just a little bit, so I'm gonna take this little pencil brush, the Morphe M574, and I'm just gonna dip into the bronzer just a little bit and just kind of run this on my nose so it matches up with the rest of my face. Now I would usually do blush, but Fenty does not have a blush out yet, unfortunately. I'm going to move into highlighter. So I have pretty much 3 highlighter shades. I have this miniature one in Hustla Baby that came with the Gloss Bomb. This one is super, super good. I also have the Kilowatt highlight in Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. Today I think I want to use a little bit of Lightning Dust, the less shimmery shade in here, and I'll use a little bit of Hustla Baby as well. I'm going to use the Morphe M510 brush and dip into Lightning Dust and just use a little bit. This is a very subtle highlight compared to the Lightning Dust one. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Hustla Baby on that same Morphe M510 brush and dip into this very lightly because it is very pigmented, and use this on the high points of my face. As you can see, it's pretty glowy. And then I'm going to take a little bit on above my brow and dust a little bit on my nose. my chin. Okay, so next, after highlight, I'm gonna move into a little tiny bit of eyeshadow. Snap shadows is what they're called. You can do like a duo and like clip another one onto the back of this one. I just have the True Neutrals #1 palette. For now, this is the only one that I have. The shadows are pretty good. This is what it comes with. I'm going to take a Morphe M433 crease brush. This is clean, it's just a little stained. And I'm going to first go into this cream shade called Nookie Rookie. And I'm just going to use this as an all-over lid shade to kind of just give me a solid base to work on. You could also use a concealer for your base, but I don't like to put concealer on my eyes usually because it makes them feel kind of heavy. So after I use that shade, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Come and Get It, this middle brown right here, and I'm gonna dip into that and just focus this in my crease and kind of up a little bit, just like that. So kind of just blurring that out a little bit. I'm gonna take this same brush again and just kind of wipe it on my hand, and I'm gonna take a little bit of that what's it called, Nookie Rookie shade, and diffuse everything. This is a good shade to use to kind of diffuse any eyeshadow and just make sure your blend is on point. So after I use that shade, I'm gonna take a Morphe M321 brush, this little pencil kind of brush, and I'm gonna take Affogato, this dark brown right here, chocolate brown, and I'm just gonna take a small amount of this and put it on my outer V right here, just like this. So I'm gonna go back to that Morphe M433 crease brush and just take the Come and Get It shade right here once again and just blend this kind of all over the lid and up in the crease to blend out that Affogato shade that we put. Okay, so this is how the eyes are looking. I'm going to take this Morphe M574 pencil brush, and I'm going to take Come and Get It and on the tip of this brush and smoke this out underneath my lash line to provide some balance from the top and the bottom. You can already see just by doing that how much better it looks and it's more cohesive. To really smoke this out, I'm gonna take that crease brush and just diffuse it. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Okay, and I'm just gonna diffuse that out as well. So for the final touch, I'm going to take a Morphe M167 flat brush, and I'm going to take Velvet Cuffs, this shade right here, and I'm going to take it and put it on the center to inner part of my eye. So I want that to be a little bit more intense, so I'm going to take the spray and spray my brush just a little bit and get a little bit more pigment out of that. As you can see, it's very shiny and pretty. And do the same thing on the other eye. Now all together, I'm just going to take that crease brush again and make sure everything's blended, and I'm going to take that Nookie Rookie cream shade and blend this all up to my brow bone. Just like that. And that is the eye look. It's just kind of bronzy, sultry a little bit. I really enjoy it, and this palette is like pretty small, so it's really easy to just throw it in your bag. So next, I also wanted to mention that Fenty has this universal Invisimatte blotting powder. This is probably my favorite thing from the whole line, and it's just like a translucent blotting powder for when you get oily. As you can see, I really like it. It doesn't add any coverage or like powderiness to your face. It's just literally like invisible, but it gets rid of the oil. So I really recommend this for anyone. Moving on, I think one of the last steps is going to be to do mascara. So I'm going to curl my eyelashes with just this random eyelash curler. So now my eyelashes are curled. I do the mascara. I'm going to spray my face all over with this setting spray and do a final little dab with the beauty blender. So just let this soak in, and then I'm gonna take the back of my velvet sponge and just press everything in and melt everything in one last time. Blending is seriously key into making your makeup look flawless. So now we're gonna go in with the mascara. This is the Full Frontal Mascara in 'Cause I'm Black. This is what it looks like. This has a really unique brush to anything I've ever seen because it has like 2 in 1. So here's like the fat side, and then when you turn it, there's a flat side. This side is for lengthening and curling. This side is for volume. So what I like to do, I'll get up close here. I start with the fat side, so this side, and I just wiggle this through my lashes first. And I feel like no matter how many layers I do of this, it just doesn't get clumpy, and it's just like a really good mascara. And it has a really fine point, so you can get into those lashes in the very inner corner. You can already see with just that little bit, like you can tell the difference. So now that I've done this eye, I'm gonna move on to this eye again, and I'm gonna take now the flat side and just wiggle this through. And this adds just a little extra length and curl, even though I already curl my lashes anyways, just because they're super straight and they just won't look good if I don't curl them. So there's that. I'm gonna do the bottom lashes, but you can see, like, I just think this mascara works really well for my eyelashes. It just works really well for my eyelashes. My eyelashes aren't even that long, like, naturally, and I think it just looks really good. So I'm gonna take the flat side and do a little wiggle on. So that's that done, and I think we are almost done. I almost forgot. The last thing is the lip. As you can see, the lip balm is still on. after all that. But I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. This is their OG one. I'm just gonna take a mirror here real quick and put this on my lips. It smells so good, like you could eat it. It smells so good. I'm just gonna put this on. But it's like sticky and thick enough that you know it's gonna stay on for a while. And the brush is super duper soft. There you go. So this is the finished look, a full face of Fenty Beauty. I'm really happy with how this look turned out. Just get a little bit close here so you can see everything. And that is the final look with a full face of Fenty Beauty. Fenty, again, is one of my favorite brands, and I really recommend that you guys check them out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Everything will be linked down in the description that I used. So yeah, thanks for watching.